Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'll be covering the weather for September 17th of 2023, and currently we have a marginal threat that does extend along the coast of the eastern United States from North Carolina into South Carolina, Georgia, and northern Florida. As for threats for today, we do have a 2% tornado threat for the southern North Carolina coast and the coast of South Carolina. And then we also do have a 5% wind threat for the entirety of the marginal threat, and we don't really have all that much of a hail threat with this at all. So overall, our main threats with this is going to be damaging winds and the threat of tornadoes along the coast. Taking a look at our radar Omega model, starting off with our 500 milliburst like we usually do, focusing on the marginal threat for the eastern coast of the United States, you can see that we do have this trough that we have been tracking for a vast majority of this week. This trough is going to trigger severe thunderstorm development for the last day of its life before going out into the Atlantic Ocean. This trough is fairly strong with mid-level flow that is going to be ranging anywhere from the 30 knots into 40 knots and even the 50 knots back across some of the inner parts of that trough. This trough does have a cold front attached to it, which is going to help trigger severe thunderstorm development along this trough. You can see that we do have some fairly strong veering of the winds with this trough, so we could definitely see some directional shear that would support the possibility of one or two brief tornadoes with that 2% tornado threat along the coast. But overall, our main threats with this are going to be our 2% tornado threat and the threat of damaging winds with this as well. Taking a look at our dew points, focusing on the marginal threat, you can see that we do have quite a bit of moisture in the atmosphere across this region, and this is going to be a lot of moisture being pushed along by this front and by this trough and this cold front, as well as some aid from the Atlantic Ocean. We could see some strong instability along the marginal threat region, with dew points that are going to be ranging anywhere from the upper 60s into the low 70s. We could definitely see quite a bit of instability across this region. Taking a look at our temperatures, focusing on the marginal threat for the coast of the eastern United States, you can see see that cold front that we've been tracking this week pretty prominently here. You can definitely see that cold front there, and that cold front is going to have temperatures that are going to range anywhere from the low 80s into the low 70s and the upper 60s. So we definitely do have a pretty strong temperature gradient with this cold front, and you can again definitely see that cold front pretty prominently across this region. And again, that will help aid in severe thunderstorm development with that trough moving through the region. So with that strong temperature gradient with this cold front, we could definitely see the threat of damaging winds with this as well. But we could also see some fairly strong instability with temperatures that could range anywhere from the 80s into the 70s. We could definitely see some fairly strong instability across this region with the fairly strong moisture that we have here as well. Taking a look at our instability, focusing on the marginal threat for the eastern United States coast, you can see that we do have some fairly strong instability across this region. However, it is fairly moderate. We are expected to see Cape values that are going to be ranging anywhere from the 1000s range into the 2000s range, mostly getting as high as the low 2000s range. So we could definitely see instability that would be supportive of some damaging winds with our temperature gradient, as well as the threat of one or two brief tornadoes with the 2% tornado threat that we have along the coast of South Carolina and southern North Carolina. Taking a look at our energy helicity index, focusing on the 2% tornado threat for the coast of South Carolina and southern North Carolina, you can see that we do have some spotty energy helicity index readings. However, these spotty energy helicity index readings with the directional shear from the trough and our instability that we have will definitely be indicative and supportive of this 2% tornado threat across this region. And we could definitely see the possibility of some spin up in the atmosphere and the threat of one or two brief tornadoes with this 2% tornado threat. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator, and join the Discord for the updates on Project Gladiator. And if you live in any of the areas that I covered for today, please stay weather alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.